Alright, before I start this thing, and nobody will hear me, somebody had asked me about the wiring that I had done on the Generac. Now, first of all, the original battery was up and behind this plate. Now, I'm kind of close to this right now because I'm trying to stay out of the snow. It was up and behind this plate. In order to get that battery out, you have to just about disassemble the whole thing. I mean, the plate, the gas tank, it's a pain in the ass, I'm telling you. So I wasn't going to put another shitty battery back in there because the batteries that come with them, I guess if you keep them on a trickle charge, you know, maybe a half an hour every 3 or 4 weeks, it'll be okay. I don't know. But the unit does not charge the battery when it's running. So the battery is independent and the unit hasn't got a charger on it. So deal with it. So anyway, I took it and I made a little drawer over here. And I keep a little spare set of jumpers because the charger, I found this, let me get underneath here for a minute. I'm getting all hung up. If you can see any of this now that I'm inside. This is the charger unit. It's just a small plug like you would find on the back of a cordless telephone charger or something like that. And the wire on that was probably around 22 gauge. I mean, it was thinner than what I have in my hand right here. It was enough to, just supply a trickle charge to the battery using the charger that came with the unit. Now, I found this out the hard way because I went out to start this, I think it was last year, and it was dead. I just forgot to charge the batteries. However, we had no electricity at the time. Even though this has a pull start, it's just too big to pull start. I don't know how anybody can actually start this by hand, especially when it's cold. Anyway, I added a set of banana plugs down here. And that's what those jumpers are for in that little drawer I just showed you. They're with 10 gauge wire hooked up to a set of banana plugs and alligator clips on the other side. So that if I wanted to, I can plug into that, take a spare battery, you know, or from my car or jump it or whatever, and at least get enough voltage from here, these banana plugs, to the battery so that I can jump start it if I had to, because you're not going to do it through this thing. So anyway, what I had done was I ran Superflex cable. It's like a welding cable. It's like 1,000 strands. You know, it's a lot of strands, so it's super flexible, carries the current well. It's like a welding cable, you know, as far as the feel and the touch. And I ran that to a new battery, which is a motorcycle battery that I put on the gen set. I built this metal case for it and I welded it right to the frame of the gen set so it goes with it, and it's really not in the way, so it's not a big deal. So that's what I'm doing. Now this, like I say, I added the wire. The wire that came with it, it would work, but in my case it was just a little too short. And I added the flex wire naturally to these banana plugs. And I did increase the wire size on this, only because I want to make sure what goes in is not going to be held up and back up and make things worse. So that's what I did there. So basically that's what it's all about. So I did add wire. I added some 10 gauge, you know, naturally to make it fit and to make it a little bit easier to use, because it was just kind of 10 gauge, you know, super flexible stuff. It's like a monster cable that we would use if I was installing a high-end amp system in a car. So, and then I just have it on the little trickle charger right now, and that kicks on for 15 minutes a day and just keeps a little trickle on that battery. In the summertime, I changed that to a timer one so that it only kicks on for like 15 minutes every week or every 2 weeks, depending. And if I know there's storms coming or it's the stormy season, I will bump it up as we go along. And then I also, coming from the batteries off my solar, I also have a 12 gauge hookup here with a set of jumpers so that if I have to jump it, I can. And I have lighting in here, so I can turn it on and get it up there because there's lighting inside, which also works off a 12 volt. So if the generator does not start and I can't see in here, at least I have some 12 volt lighting to work with. So basically that's it, guys. The hardest part was taking the battery out. If you were able to find a battery, like a motorcycle battery like I did, and a battery box, and you didn't have to build one, and you had the means of attaching it somehow quickly, yet stable, it would probably take no more than an hour once the other battery's out of there to do what I did. Unfortunately, I had to do it in the winter months when we needed it most, and we didn't have power at the time, and I couldn't get this started. So thank God I had the smaller gen set inside that hand cranks, and it's only 2400 watts, but it was enough for me to use to keep the garage powered up until I got that running. So, but anyway, I got to start this. Oh, and another thing I did with this is that the gas shut off. It used to be some red plastic shut off, up, off, on, off type of thing, but it was plastic, and believe it or not, it just kept spinning after a while, kind of just broke. And I didn't really use it, you know, roughly, just when it gets cold, the plastic has a problem. So what I did was I just put a regular screw type gas valve here, so I don't have to worry about it. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or not. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, and that's it. Pull the choke, and if for all intended purposes it should start.